Welcome back. Today's tutorial is this beautiful smoky eye with a chrome accent finish. I'm going straight in with the eye makeup. I'm using MAC's paint pot in the colour Groundwork. I'm applying this to the eyelid and taking it up into the socket. This is going to be our base colour. It's very neutral in tone and it's kind of like a taupey shade. It's not that noticeable on my skin tone. If you're slightly lighter you may notice it a bit more, but it's very subtle and it's just going to work as the base colour that goes up to the brow bone. Next up we're using Constructivist, which is another paint pot by MAC. This one's a bit deeper in tone and it's a warm reddish brown with a pearl finish. I'm using the same 239 brush to apply this to the eyelid, and you'll notice I'm not being too neat about it. I'm going to go straight in with a blending brush and that's going to help me to blend the seams. These paint pots are so easy to work with, they blend like a dream, but they do set, so you need to get straight in with your brush before they set and then you'll get a nice gradient with them. You'll have noticed that I've left the centre of the lid with no colour on. This is because we're going to be going over it later with our chrome finish, so it's not necessary to cover it. It's completely up to you if you decide you want to. A little tip when blending is to use a synthetic brush because these work better with cream products. So next up I'm going in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and I'm mixing these two browns together. The brush I'm using is the C528 by Crown brush. This is quite small and it's tapered at the ends, so we're going to be working this colour into the socket of the eye. And having a small tapered brush means it's going to do all the work for you because it's just going to sink into your natural eye socket and all you have to do is work it backwards and forwards. Then I'm going in with a clean blending brush and softening the seams up towards that brow bone. Using what's left on the bristles, I'm going to work a little bit more of that colour upwards towards the brow bone. It's very subtle, but again it's just helping to pour that colour up towards the brow bone. Now I'm going in with my MAC 218 SE Precision brush. You'll notice the tip is really precise, so it means you can get straight into that socket and create really defined work if you need to. I'm going in with the matte black from the Shade and Light palette and I'm working this directly through the socket. As I said before, let the brush sink into your natural socket line and just work it backwards and forwards. This would be a great brush if you were doing a cut crease. We don't need to be that precise as this is just a smoky eye. So I've taken that colour all the way through the socket and I'm now concentrating some of that onto the inner corner of the mobile eyelid and also the outer corner of the mobile eyelid. And I'm still leaving the centre bare because we're going to be applying the chrome finish here. Going back to this reddish brown shade and using that same pointy brush, I've decided to take more of that colour up towards the brow bone and then using the domed blending brush to soften the edges. Often when you apply a darker shade with a smoky eye, other areas need intensifying, so always think of it as a work in progress. I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer and I'm dabbing a very small amount on each eyelid in the centre. Then using a flat brush I'm pressing that in, trying not to take it too far out and keeping it on the centre of the eyelid. This is going to remove any of that eyeshadow that has gone onto the centre and it's creating a lighter base for our chrome accent finish. To feather the concealer out so it doesn't look too blocky, use the belly of the brush in a stipple motion. I decided to go in with MAC's paint pot in Indian Wood over this area. I wanted to give you another option in case you don't have the same product for the chrome that I've got. I wanted to show you that Indian Wood would work beautifully with this smoky eye. I'm feathering some of that warm brown on the edges of the Indian Wood to make sure the colours blend seamlessly. This is my favourite bit. This is Model's Own Colour Chrome in number 5, Copper Luster, and I'm packing that on directly over where we've applied Indian Wood. It's probably quicker and more effective to use your finger to apply this. I don't know why I decided to use a brush, but the initial application I apply with a brush and then I tap some extra on with my finger. Going back to my Shade and Light palette, I'm going back in with the matte black from the palette and using another 239 brush, I'm packing this onto the outer third of that eyelid and then also the inner third. Once you've got your black in place, you then want to go in with a very small amount of the brown on the small tapered brush and then just soften off the edges. Tap off all the excess eyeshadow before applying it to your lid and use a very light hand when doing so. Going back to the warm reddish brown shade in the palette, I'm going to run that underneath the lower lashes with a small detailer brush, making sure I connect that with the outer corner of the top lid so that the eye is completely framed. Then I'm going in with the brown mixed with a tiny bit of black and then running that closer to the root of the lashes, making sure you can still see some of that reddish brown underneath. Along the waterline I'm applying the J Manual eyeliner in the shade Wicked, which is really black. I'm applying a couple of layers of this and I'm also using it to tight line. Along my top lash line I'm applying Ico's Black Magic liquid liner and I'm not doing anything special, I'm simply lining all the way across close to the lashes. The thickness is completely optional, I'm not doing anything too thick and I'm also not winging it out. I'm stopping at the end of the lash line. I'm now going to apply some falsies. These ones are by Kedo, and the set I'm using are called Grandiose. These are lovely and full but not too thick. We do want to be able to see that chrome accent through the lashes. If you'd like to see my tips and tricks on how to apply false eyelashes, then check out my tutorial. For foundation, I'm using Pure's Bare It All, and the brush I'm going to use to apply is the 117 Petite Defined Buffer by Zoeva. I really like this foundation, and I particularly like that the longer you wear it, the nicer it looks. I don't know if it's because the skin warms it up, but I wore it all holiday and I really liked it. By the end of the evening, I'd look in the mirror and I didn't want to take it off because my skin looked so natural but so flawless. I don't know why it looks so yellow on camera. This is me wearing it on holiday, and as you can see, in daylight it absolutely matches my skin, no problem, but for some reason on camera it's picking up so yellow. It will look better once I've finished my face. I'm going to use this Dermacolour to conceal some of the pigmentation that my skin has since coming back from holiday. Even though I wear Factor 50, I always get skin pigmentation come up and then it goes down. So next I'm going in with Benefit's Hoola Contour Stick. Another thing that I loved using on holiday, it's so easy to blend in, and obviously it's convenient having it in a bullet that you can just whip round your face and then blend in with either your fingers or a brush. My preference is using the same brush that I used for my foundation, and as you can see I just use a stipple motion to work that in, and it just blends in so well with this foundation. I love them so much, I even just lent them to my sister who's currently on holiday. Even though Callie and I much prefer to wear mineral makeup in the day, in the evening we like to wear a liquid foundation, and I knew she'd be quite fussy, so I asked her what she thought and she said she really likes it. She agreed it goes on slightly thick but shears down and wears beautifully. As the eye makeup is quite heavy, we want the brows to be a lot fuller. I don't want them to be OTT in terms of colour, so I'm using a colour that still matches my own brow hair. Instead I'm maximising the space, so I'm filling them out at the very top of where my hair is and the very base of where my hair is, whereas usually along the top I keep it quite sparse and more natural looking. This brow pencil is by Zoeva, it's brilliant and it's so much more affordable than a lot of the ones that are on the market. I'm brightening under my eyes only very slightly using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm using the same Zoeva brush to work that in. Going in with my NARS Laguna bronzer, I'm applying this to the tops of the cheekbones and also deepening the hollows of the cheeks slightly. Going into my Becca and Chrissy Teigen palette, I'm taking the blush which is called Hibiscus Bloom, and I'm working that onto the apples of the cheeks and pulling the colour backwards. This is going to make our complexion look nice and healthy. Going back to the palette, I'm taking Beach Nectar highlighter and I'm applying this to the tops of the cheekbones and the cupid's bow of the top lip. To line my lips, I'm using Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Lip Pencil. Because the eyes are quite intense, we want to keep the lips either very natural or nude. The lipstick I'm using is by MAC and it's called Peach Stock, and I'm using my finger to apply it. If you're not a fan of nudes, then you could use something that's very subtly pink or subtly coral. Then over that I'm using MAC's Oyster Girl Lip Gloss. For me personally, I don't think you can beat a nude lip with a smoky eye. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comment section below and I will do my best to get back to you. I really hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. The subscribe button is on screen now if you haven't already done so. It's free to do so, so why not? If you would like to follow me outside of YouTube, then my social handles are on screen now. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye!